chart doesn't lie. It tells you who people love, whose voice they reach for, when words won't come. But sometimes the chart tells you something darker, something that makes you sit in silence after the song ends. Sometimes it tells you the world finally realized what it had, only after it was gone. These are 12 real stories, 12 artists, 12 songs. Each one climbed to #1 on the charts of the world, after the person who made it was already dead. The first posthumous #1 in U.S. history happened in 1968. The first in UK history happened in 1959. Both involved plane crashes. Both involved artists at the absolute peak of their powers. These are not forgotten people. These are legends. Every single one of them deserved to hear the crowd go wild. They never got to. Number 12. Buddy Holly. His name was Charles Hardin Holly. The world knew him as Buddy Holly. He was 22 years old when his plane went down into a frozen Iowa cornfield on February 3, 1959, killing him. Ritchie Valens, the Big Bopper, and the pilot. Don McLean would later call it the day the music died. He wasn't wrong. Holly had been grinding the brutal winter dance party tour across the frozen Midwest in buses with no working heat. His drummer had already been hospitalized with frostbite. Desperate, Holly chartered a small plane. His spacist Waylon Jennings gave up his seat to a sick bandmate. When Holly found out, he joked, "I hope your old bus freezes up." Jennings shot back, "Well, I hope your old plane crashes." Those words haunted Jennings for the rest of his life. The song that went to #1 after Holly's death was called "It Doesn't Matter Anymore." The cruelest title in history, written by the teenage Paul Anka, who was so shattered by the news that he donated every royalty to Holly's widow. Holly's wife, Maria Elena, suffered a miscarriage when she was told. She had been too pregnant to travel. The song hit UK #1 in April 1959, the first posthumous chart topper in British music history. Bruce Springsteen said, "I play Buddy Holly every night before I go on." He was 22, famous for barely 2 years. The world has spent 66 years wondering what he might have become. Number 11, Roy Orbison. No rock singer absorbed more personal tragedy than Roy Orbison, and kept singing anyway. Every time I look into your June 1966, Roy and his wife Claudette were riding motorcycles on a Tennessee road when a truck pulled in front of her. Roy was ahead. He heard the impact. Claudette died in his arms at the roadside. She was 24 years old. 2 years later, while Roy was touring England, a fire tore through his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee. 2 young sons, Roy Duane and Anthony, died in the flames. Only his youngest survived, pulled out by his grandfather. Roy Roy refused to attend funerals for the rest of his life. Somehow, he kept working. In 1988, the music world gave him something extraordinary. An invitation to join a supergroup called the Traveling Wilburys alongside George Harrison, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, and Jeff Lynne. Their debut album cracked the top 10. Inspired, Roy finished his own comeback album, Mystery Girl, recording You Got It in Mike Campbell's garage with Lynne and Petty. His only public performance of the song was on November 19, 1988, 17 days before his death. On December 6, 1988, after a day flying model airplanes and visiting his mother, Roy Orbison suffered a heart attack at home. He was 52 years old. You Got It reached #1 on the adult contemporary chart, his first top 10 hit in 24 years. A man who had lost everything, still singing, still reaching the top. Number 10, Jimi Hendrix. The song wasn't supposed to exist. In May 1968, an ABC television camera crew arrived at the record plant in New York to film the Jimi Hendrix Experience pretending to record. Just background footage. Hendrix looked at his bandmates and said, "Okay, let's do it in E." What happened next was 5 minutes of the most ferocious guitar playing ever captured on tape. Wah-wah opening that sounds like it arrived from another dimension. A riff so violent and so beautiful that Joe Satriani later called it the greatest piece of electric guitar work ever recorded. That was Voodoo Child, Slight Return, born in one take for a camera crew, entirely by accident. It became the last song Hendrix ever performed live. At a concert in Germany on September 6, 1970, 12 days before his death. On September 18, 1970, Hendrix was found unresponsive in his London apartment after taking sleeping tablets and drinking wine. He could not be revived. Official cause, asphyxiation. He was 27 years old. He had been famous for just 4 years. In those 4 years, he reinvented what a guitar could do. Within weeks of his death, Track Records released the song as a UK single. It went straight to #1. It was the only UK #1 of his entire career. Recorded accidentally in one take, never meant to be a single. Voted by Music Radar readers the greatest guitar riff in rock history. He never knew. He never knew any of it. Number 9, Mark Bolan, T-Rex. His whole life, Mark Bolan refused to learn how to drive. He told friends he had a strong premonition he would die in a car crash, so he never sat behind a wheel, not once. Every other way, Bolan was completely fearless, a glitter-dusted, corkscrew-haired prophet who single-handedly invented glam rock. Get It On hit UK #1 in 1971 for 4 weeks. David Bowie, Elton John, and an entire generation watched what Bolan was doing and took notes. That's the truth with your clothes full of eagles. By the mid-1970s, his star had faded. But by 1977, he was staging a real comeback. New album, new tour with punk band The Damned as support, and his own Granada television show called Mark. The final episode featured Bolan performing a duet with his close friend David Bowie. Near the end of the song, Bolan tripped over a microphone cable and fell off the stage. Bowie laughed. Bolan laughed. The episode was recorded on September 7th, 1977. Days later, on the morning of September 16th, Mark Bolan was a passenger in a purple Mini driven by his girlfriend Gloria Jones when she lost control on a humpback bridge in Barnes, London. The car hit a fence and slammed into a sycamore tree. Bolan was not wearing a seatbelt. He was pronounced dead at the scene. He was 29 years old, 2 weeks before his 30th birthday. Final TV episode aired after his funeral. His tire back catalog surged back up the UK charts. The premonition was right. It was always going to be a car. Number 8. Jim Croce. He wrote it the night his wife told him she was pregnant. Jim Croce sat with his guitar, and the words that came were about time, about how there was never enough of it, about wishing he could save every beautiful moment and open it later.
Is a way just to spend them with you.
If I could save time in a bottle. He recorded it in 1972, but it was never released as a single.
I'd save every day like a treasure.
In the months that followed, Croce became one of America's most beloved songwriters.
Them with you, but they never see.
Bad Leroy Brown hit number 1 in July 1973. After a decade of grinding, day jobs, debt, rejection, Jim Croce had finally made it.
No, you're the one I want to go through time.
He was 30. He had a baby son. He was homesick. He told his wife he was coming home after one more show.
If I could save time in a bottle.
On the night of September 20th, 1973, after a college concert in Natchitoches, Louisiana, Croce and 5 others boarded a charter plane, clipped a pecan tree on takeoff and burst into flames. He died instantly.
These last forever, if words could.
He had finished his new album just 1 week earlier. After his death, fans bought everything he had ever recorded.
Seems to be enough time to do the things you wanted.
Then someone remembered a quiet song about a man who desperately wanted more time. Time in a Bottle was sent to radio.
Once you find them.
On December 29th, 1973, it became the last number 1 of the year, 2 weeks at the top. His son AJ later said, "It was written for me. It sums up everything he felt. He never came home. But that bottle has never stopped playing." 7. Elvis Presley. By 1977, the king was not well. Elvis Presley had spent the previous decade under a mountain of prescription drugs, isolation, and broken dreams. Marriage was over.
And I could feel.
His manager had been draining him financially for years. He was performing 200 shows a year from a Las Vegas casino, bloated, sweating, sometimes forgetting the words. The man who had fused gospel, country, and rhythm and blues into something the world had never heard. The man who made teenagers scream and grown men pick up guitars. now performing in a rhinestone jumpsuit for convention crowds. October 1976, at his home studio inside Graceland, Elvis recorded what would be his final single. He called it Way Down. On August 16, 1977, he was found on the bathroom floor by his fiancée, Ginger Alden, dead for hours. Official cause, cardiac arrhythmia. But the autopsy revealed 10 different prescription drugs in his system. His funeral drew crowds so massive that a car drove into mourners outside Graceland, killing 2 people. Same week, Way Down was sitting at number 42 on the UK charts. The world reached for his last song, rocketed to number 1 and stayed for 5 weeks. His 17th UK chart topper, his first in 7 years. The lowest note on the record, that rumbling bass vocal rolling beneath everything, sounds now like something descending from the living world to wherever Elvis went. Way on down. Number 6. John Lennon. He had been away for 5 years after the Beatles, after the lawsuits, after the chaotic 18-month spiral he called his lost weekend. John Lennon had retreated to his apartment in the Dakota Building in New York City, baking bread, raising his son Sean, watching the world from his window. Then in early 1980, on vacation in Bermuda, he started writing again. A song built on the feeling of falling back in love with someone you had known your whole life. His final interview, recorded 3 days before his death, Lennon described it as Elvis Orbison, going back to the rock and roll that had lit him on fire as a teenager in Liverpool. Double Fantasy came out in November 1980. The song was climbing the charts. Lennon was giving interviews and laughing again. He was happy. On the afternoon of December 8, 1980, he stood outside the Dakota and signed an autograph for a fan named Mark David Chapman on a copy of Double Fantasy. That night, returning from a recording session, Chapman stepped from the shadows and shot Lennon 4 times in the back. He was pronounced dead on arrival at Roosevelt Hospital. He was 40 years old. Within days, Just Like, Starting Over reached number 1 on both sides of the Atlantic. Double Fantasy won the Grammy for Album of the Year, a song called Starting Over, for a man who never got his second chance. Number 5. Freddie Mercury. Most people know the first time Bohemian Rhapsody went to number 1, 1975, 6 weeks at the top. Nothing like it had ever existed. Part rock opera, part ballad, part beautiful chaos. Freddie Mercury overdubbed his falsetto vocals so many times the multi-track tape literally wore transparent. Didn't mean to make you cry. But this is the story of the second time. By the late 1980s, Freddie Mercury had been secretly diagnosed with AIDS. He told almost no one. He kept going into the studio. He kept writing. He kept performing. Body's aching all the time. Guitarist Brian May recalled sessions where Freddie would physically struggle to stand at the microphone, then look up and say, "Darling, let's just get on with it," and then deliver something that left the room speechless. On November 23, 1991, Freddie issued a public statement confirming he had AIDS. The first time he had ever acknowledged it. He died the following morning. He was 45 years old. Queen's label immediately re-released Bohemian Rhapsody as a tribute. Video had just been featured in Wayne's World, introducing the song to an entirely new generation.
I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me.
Returned to UK #1 for 5 weeks. All proceeds went to the Mercury Phoenix Trust, fighting AIDS worldwide. The song's since been streamed over 2 billion times, the most played song from the 20th century on Spotify. He announced he was dying on a Sunday. He was gone by Monday. The world gave him back his #1. Number 4, Marvin Gaye. The gun that killed Marvin Gaye was one he had given his own father as a Christmas gift. That is not a metaphor, that is a fact. By 1984, Marvin Gaye had spent his whole life trying to earn the approval of a man incapable of giving it. His father, a preacher named Marvin Gaye Sr., had beaten him throughout childhood. Marvin spent decades buying his father cars, inviting him to shows, moving him into a house he paid for. Nothing was ever enough. In the early 1980s, Gaye had fled to Belgium, broke, addicted to cocaine, drowning in IRS debts. Alone in Ostend, he recorded Sexual Healing on a Roland TR-808 drum machine. Became the first major hit to use that drum machine, the same machine that would later define hip-hop. The song hit R&B #1 for 10 consecutive weeks in 1982, and won him his first Grammy after over 20 years in music. He came home triumphant. Then, cocaine tightened its grip. He stopped touring. He moved back into his parents' house. On the morning of April 1st, 1984, one day before his 45th birthday, Gaye stepped between his parents during an argument. His father retrieved the revolver and shot his son twice in the chest. Marvin Gaye's last reported words were, "I got what I wanted. Couldn't do it myself, so I made him do it." Gaye Sr. pleaded no contest and received a suspended sentence. His son's music has never left the charts. Number 3, Karen Carpenter. She was one of the greatest voices in the history of popular music. She was also one of the most powerful drummers of the 1970s. Playboy voted her best rock drummer of 1975. The Carpenters had sold over 100 million records, 17 top 20 hits, 10 million selling singles. Karen Carpenter, the voice behind Yesterday Once More, Close to You, and We've Only Just Begun, was dying, quietly, invisibly, in plain sight. Her battle with anorexia nervosa began around 1974, when friends and family praised her initial weight loss. By 1978, she weighed 79 pounds on a 5'4" frame. She was taking 80 to 90 laxative tablets every single night, unprescribed thyroid pills to race her metabolism. The word anorexia barely existed in public vocabulary. The doctors, her family, and the entire music industry, none of them had the tools to help her. On the morning of February 4th, 1983, Karen was at her parents' home in Downey, California, preparing to sign divorce papers. She collapsed in her closet. Paramedics found her heart beating once every 10 seconds. She was pronounced dead 20 minutes later. She was 32 years old. Her death brought anorexia nervosa into global public awareness for the first time in history.
It's yesterday.
Karen Carpenter was the first celebrity ever known to die of the disorder. After her passing, yesterday once more flooded airwaves worldwide. A song about how music brings everything flooding back. It brought her back too, only when it was too late.
Just like before.
Number 2, Jeff Buckley.
That David played and it pleased the Lord.
The original wasn't even his song. Hallelujah was written by Leonard Cohen in 1984. A song about love, loss, and the sacred. Almost nobody heard it.
Hallelujah.
Then in 1994, a 27-year-old named Jeff Buckley recorded it for his debut album, Grace. He recorded it inside a church, choosing the space purely for the acoustics.
Hallelujah.
His voice moved through those verses with such devastating tenderness that it stopped people cold. Grace sold modestly. Critics called him a genius.
On the roof, her beauty and the moon.
Mainstream audiences hadn't found him yet. He was touring, writing his second album.
Hallelujah.
On the warm night of May 29, 1997, while waiting for his band in Memphis, Buckley waded fully clothed into the Wolf River for a swim. He was singing "Whole Lotta Love" by Led Zeppelin as he entered the water.
Alone before I knew you.
A wake from a passing boat washed over him. He went under. His body was found 6 days later. He was 30 years old.
You were babe.
For 11 years, Hallelujah spread through the culture. Films, television, hundreds of covers.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
2008, when X Factor winner Alexandra Burke released her version, the British public mobilized online, urging everyone to buy Buckley's original instead. Both versions landed in the UK top 2 simultaneously.
Well, there was a time when you let me know.
A recording from 1994, made by a man dead for 11 years. Neck and neck with a major label release. Leonard Cohen, when someone played him Buckley's version, went quiet, then said, "That one is the one."
Before I've seen this room and I've walked this.
Number 1, Kurt Cobain. The last song Nirvana ever recorded sat in a vault for 8 years. January 30th, 1994, Kurt Cobain, Dave Grohl, and Chris Novoselic gathered at Robert Lang Studios in Seattle. Nobody knew it was their final session. They recorded a song called "You Know You're Right." Cobain Cobain's voice sounds like a man being torn apart from the inside. Raw, dissonant, desperate. Something in the recording already feels like an ending. 3 months later, on April 5, 1994, Cobain was found dead at his Seattle home. He was 27 years old. The master recording immediately became the center of a bitter legal war between his widow, Courtney Love, and his bandmates Dave Grohl and Krist Novoselic. A dispute so fierce it nearly prevented the release of Nirvana's greatest hits compilation entirely. For 8 years, the last thing Nirvana ever made sat locked in a vault. 2002, the parties finally settled. You Know You're Right was released as the lead single. It debuted at #1 on the US alternative charts, stayed there. The NME called it a haunting reminder of everything rock music lost. Dave Grohl later said that January's session had been one of the best they ever had. Cobain was energized, present, playing with everything he had. Nobody knew it was the last time. Song, raw and furious and unfinished, became the final word from the greatest rock band of its generation. #1, 8 years too late.